Hello, welcome to Capacity TV. I'm joined today by Michael Wheeler of NTT Communications. Michael, NTT Com, you've just announced the launch of a new point of presence in the old English city of Manchester. Why are you doing that? Why have you expanded your IP backbone into Manchester?
Well, thanks for having me, Alan. It's great to be here. For Manchester, it's kind of been on our radar screen for quite a while. It's certainly been a market that we've looked at a couple different times in the past, and ultimately it just became a situation where we had the right number of opportunities and the right amount of kind of scale going forward to deploy infrastructure there. So the tricky part for us, at least initially, was to make sure that we didn't just have Manchester directly connected back only to London. We wanted to make sure it was connected also into Europe proper as well. So the links there will be between Amsterdam and Manchester, as well as Manchester to London. So
to give you resilience.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of business around there you're seeing? What sort of business are you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a bit of a natural evolution of more and more, content and ISPs kind of getting further and further into the edge of the, the network, so to speak, and so it's a good opportunity to extend into that presence. I mean, in this case, we're locating ourselves in Equinix, and it's the fourth building I believe Equinix has in that city, essentially. So, there's certainly a lot of growth that a lot of other parts of the ecosystem are seeing as well.
We're halfway through 2018 already. Reflect to me what's happened so far in the year, what you see are the industry trends.
I think what we've seen for the first half of this year is a bit of the same progression we saw at the end of last year, which is our customer growth on traffic at the 100 gig port level has really been significant. And we're really seeing large growth in that curve. We're seeing more and more customers deploying kind of only 100 gig capacities versus 10 gig and then moving to 100. 10 gig is still a large part of traffic for us from a customer-facing point of view, but 100 gig is definitely really taking over and driving a growth from an overall percentage basis. The other thing I think that we've seen also for a while, and we talked about this at previous events, is just the issues around network security. There were some large attacks that have occurred recently. The Memcache attack, which was about a month or so ago, was pretty much off the scale in regards to volume, and there have been a few other kind of smaller incidents that occurred. For example, the kind of the route hijacking that occurred around the DNS 53 situation that occurred, and the kind of tying that into cryptocurrency kind of theft that took place. So those things are certainly not new, but some of them are new incidents, I would say, or new examples of incidents, and that kind of keeps us on our toes for sure.
In the era with GDPR coming in Europe, what's NTT Com's role in helping preserve security and defend against attacks?
From a global IP network perspective, we're really focused on the network security component of that. Security, as you know, is a very broad scope of services and applications. We focus on the network piece and look at DDoS attacks in particular. We have done a number of things to kind of enhance our DDoS protection service offering over the last couple of years. And we're getting close, I can't announce anything today, but getting very close to kind of announcing our next level of that protection offering probably in the next couple of months. And so that will be a fairly robust, kind of all-encompassing solution for customers. But the options we have today, are kind of everything from just doing black hole routing, which is just a tool that any customer of ours can use, selective black hole routing, and then the various levels of DDoS protection service that we have as an offering. So we're committed to that as a service to our customers, and quite honestly, as a part of our responsibility in being a large network operator globally.
What solutions do you see as the most effective against these attacks? Is that what you're hoping to bring out, or are there other things that the industry as a whole is providing? The
reality is that there is, depending upon the user or the customer, the types of tools that they need to use will vary depending upon their type of traffic, what they're trying to protect, and how they're trying to manage the geographic diversity that they have across their network. So there's no one-size-fits-all answer for sure. And in many cases, a lot of our larger customers have their own set of tools internally. They'll use, in some cases, one or two or three different third-party groups like ourselves and others to actually address the overall attack profile. It's kind of like security for a home in many ways. You have various degrees of that, from just a simple lock and key on the front door to video cameras and a dog sitting in the front yard or something. So everybody has to scope that based on their business requirement. And we just feel like we need to be a part of that offering that's available to customers.
Is the global carrier industry working together, different companies, to achieve this?
I would say there's a number of ways in which the carriers work together. There's certainly kind of an engineering level and a network security team level groups that are, I would call more ad hoc groups, but a lot of interaction there. And we have been doing some things with the Global Leadership Forum around network security and having some more collaborative approaches to how we can work together to address security across the different networks that we have.
Exchanging information and...
I would just leave it at collaboration. I think that some of it is probably better left unsaid, but certainly I think we all feel a responsibility to communicate and collaborate as much as possible, and do so just within the context of our roles within the broader internet.
Finally, carriers seem to be paying more attention to automation to increase efficiency and reduce costs. What is the experience of NTT Com in doing that for its global network?
Yeah, we've actually been huge proponents of automation from a network management perspective for a couple decades now. If we go back to our original founding days as a business, what was originally called Vario that NTT acquired back in the late 90s, and we've been doing automation at some level for, again, almost 20 years. For us, it provides a number of benefits. There's certainly just the sheer OpEx cost benefit that we see, but the experience for customers is much better in our opinion. Not only the experience of the network running on a day-to-day basis, but even when we're doing let's say a router maintenance in a given POP in Manchester, for example, we can, with our automation toolkit we built in-house, we can tee up all of those transfers and migrations that are going to occur in the course of that night, and hundreds of them at a time, and do them within a couple of hours, which in traditional ways, doing it on a more manual basis, could take days and days and days. So that I think from a customer perspective is a much better experience overall. So we use an SDN controller to manage our network, and we've done that for a long time. We continue to build in more and more tools or components of that provide us better visibility in the network. But automation as a concept is something that are huge fans of, and do as much as we can to move forward for ourselves, but I think we certainly have contributed to the industry at times as well.
Great. Well, Michael, thank you. Hope business in Manchester goes really well, and thank you for joining us on Capacity TV. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.